just have to mess with that. Okay. Perfect.
Looks like they're doing a soft opening of Soren for everybody today.
Oh, really? That
Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, the lines for that weren't like crazy, so if they can get more people through, it probably makes sense.
Yeah, for everybody who's watching the live stream, we just found out that Soren is open to everybody, not just APs. So if you're in and around Epcot and you want to ride it prior to Tuesday, have at it. Oh, I gotta shut the audio off for this.
Yeah, cool.
I was getting double audio. Double Jackie,
boy.
double Kirk is too much, dude. It's too much for anybody.
One is enough.
Nobody needs that.
One is plenty. Hi, Rhonda.
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda, how was your trip? I didn't get to talk to you. I hope you had a good time. We'll have to message about it later.
Jackie, I have a question, and this is something that I can help you with setup later, is you're not pushing to YouTube through OBS, are you?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah.
Then how come it looks like this?
I don't, because that's what I'm saying.
Your scenes are all Jackie.
I know.
They're all weird.
And I don't know why.
Do you have your scenes already set up?
But that's the thing is I have one scene when I do through OBS when it's just me, it looks fine. But when I do with a co-host, because we're going through Ninja, that's where my scenes are messed up.
Yeah, so what you need to do is make new scenes for when you have two people.
I know, but I don't know what setting I'm missing that is making the video look like this, because I'm doing a window capture for
right. But what
Ninja.
What you would do is you would load two window captures and you would crop us, and then you would just size it so it fills the frame for YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Okay, well that's what I want to teach you. So after we get off this, like we'll just spend a little bit of tutorial time together.
Cool.
It's I think it's like Control Shift, and then you can drag in.
Okay.
Like crop the windows, but you would want to have the same scene multiple times.
Okay.
So you can that's how I do like Fortnite. Like it'll be the Fortnite game, the Fortnite map, Fortnite kills. Like it's all the same screen cap.
Yeah.
But just being duplicated and then resized and put in different spots. So that's what you would do for this.
Cool. That's just what I don't know how to do. And
we'll and that way it'll be a lot easier. It'll be, and then you don't even have to like worry about this in the future. Like you just leave this up, it's perfect, and then edit it if you want.
Right.
Whatever you want.
Okay, that would be great. Yes, Sarah and Ty and I have tried, and we're just not well versed enough in all of this to be able to make it do what I want it to do. So that would be lovely if you would assist with that, because that's what I can't. Yeah, I don't know how to.
We'll work on it.
See, and now I just don't do that. Ah.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay.
Because I don't know how to do any of that. So, and again,
get you there.
I'm still figuring all of this out. And like I said, when I do just me by myself, I don't have to worry about it, which is 75% of the time. So.
Yeah, but there might be times where like even when you do like you and screen sharing, like because you're like pulling up stuff, like you might want to orient them differently and change. It's all good. We'll fix it all.
Yeah.
So all right, I'm ready when you are, dog. Let's do this thing.
Sounds like.
Hi everybody.
Sounds
What's
like a
going
plan.
on?
Hi guys.
Mom Street USAers.
Hello. My dog stole my blanket. I was looking for it.
A blanket?
So I'm in my basement and it is freezing down here.
How cold?
So
like 50s?
It's probably in the upper 50s down here right now.
Ew.
Yeah.
You need to move, dude.
Yeah. Tell that to my husband.
Just get him on here. I'll tell him right now. What are you doing?
No, he just got a new job, so that's not gonna happen
it.
anytime soon.
Quit it. Just get it. If you just got a new job, you can get another new job. What's the difference?
A lot of work. And a lot of time.
Everything good requires a lot of work and time.
Yes. So, he's we're not going anywhere anytime soon, which is great. We're glad that he got a new job. However, It just means that we're stuck. It's okay. We're good. We've agreed that we'll move to Florida when the time is right. It's just probably going to be a while.
Fun fact: there's never a good time.
This is true.
So,
This is true. This is true.
all right, we ready? Both ready?
I think so. Okay, let me. Perfect. Just get another new job, Sarah. Listen.
Oh shoot, am I you're just doing all the audio, right? I don't have
Yes.
to do a separate audio track.
Nope, just me.
Okay, cool.
See, and that's another thing that I don't know how to do. So add it to the list. Add it to the list. Cool. All right. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Perfect. Welcome, everybody, to Mom Street USA. I am your host, Jackie, and today I am joined by our good friend Kirk from Walrus, Carp, and we are going to be chatting about all things Orlando area water parks. So just a few episodes ago, Kirk was on with us and we talked about the other Orlando area theme parks, and we realized that water parks were probably a good follow-up to that episode. So that is what you are in for today. Before we jump in, Kirk, how are you doing this wonderful Friday afternoon as we record this?
I'm ready and raring. It is so poor Jackie. It's freezing in her house, in her basement. It's in the 50s. Meanwhile, it's 90 degrees, and all I can think about are water parks. So this is perfect.
It's great. And it's great for, summer is here. We are like right before Memorial Day as we're recording this. This is perfect timing. Yeah, unfortunately, Ohio doesn't know that it's almost summer, and that is fairly common in my neck of the woods. So I just grin and bear it and pretend I'm in Florida. So it works either way. Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and hop in. As we were just talking about, many families visiting in the Orlando area for theme parks, sometimes they don't even consider the water parks. So when we talked about the other theme parks in the area, we were, briefly mentioning a few of the water parks. So we really wanted to jump in and give you an overview of each water park option. So that way, if you're considering doing a water park on your trip, you will have the information to make the best decision possible. So we're going to go through all of the water parks today that are in the greater Orlando area and kind of give you the rundown. Kirk's going to give some of his insight because he's been to nearly all of these, so he can give us kind of his thoughts and opinions and all of that as we go through. But to kind of kick off, we're going to start at Disney and then work our way through, just because Disney's what we do best over here on Mom Street, quite honestly. So two different Disney water parks that we're going to talk about. We're going to start with Blizzard Beach. And I'm going to kind of give you all of the information research wise, and then I'll have Kirk kind of fill in any of the blanks as far as that goes, especially the food, because food is hard to research online, and I know that Kirk's got experience with the foods that are at all of these water parks. So
I have eaten at all of them.
Yes. So perfect. That's why you're here, just to give us the food information. So starting with Blizzard Beach, it is a ski resort themed water park that features 7 water slides, 2 kiddie areas, a lazy river, and a wave pool. Pricing wise, you can get Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, the next one we're going to talk about, included in some Disney packages. So these are just if you want to go just there for one day prices, you're looking at $74 for adults and $68 for kids. That would be ages 3 to 9. But again, you can kind of find deals, especially during the summertime and during this summer, and also happened last summer. So don't know if they're going to continue this or not, but resort guests at Disney parks can enjoy the water park admission included with your stay from May 26th to September 8th this year, which is a really, really great opportunity to explore these water parks if you've never been before. And both of them are going to be open again this summer, which last summer was the first time ever that had happened, I believe, or the first time in recent years, at least, that had happened. So they're doing that again this year. So Kirk, what can you tell us about Blizzard Beach and your experiences there?
It's awesome. So Blizzard Beach is really unique in the sense that it created a lot of, you know what, actually, I'll phrase this differently. It removed friction and pain points that happen in all water parks. And this is the only real water park that integrates this really well. Most water parks require you to climb lots and lots of stairs. and carrier tubes, which are two real big pain points for families, especially if you have littles.
Yeah.
So when you think about Blizzard Beach will make your life a lot easier because you're not carrying a lot of things and you don't necessarily have to go up a lot of stairs. And I think that's a massive benefit. I'm going to show a quick picture on here. How do I do this again? Hang on, I'll get this started up. There we go. So this is their gondola system or sky like ride system, and it's a chairlift, you know, that you would use for something like, you know, a ski lift, because everything is ski themed here. So this is one way that they take all the stairs out for you. You still can walk on stairs, and there are some stairs, but really the only ones are for that summit plummet. Everything else is at this level. So it's so easy to just take the chairlift up and not have to climb around. Plus, it's like a really fun way to look at the entirety of the park, which I'll show you in a second. But I want to talk about one more inclusive mobility thing, and that is going to be the use of conveyor belts. Now, you notice on this photo, there is a conveyor belt system for their mat slides, which are parallel to each side or adjacent to each side of the conveyor belt system. And all you have to do at the end of the ride is throw the mat on the conveyor belt sucks it up, and then when you're at the top, you just pull it right off the conveyor belt. So like, again, that system has made, to me, Blizzard Beach one of the best in terms of process getting on there. I think the thematic is good. It is a smaller water park. It definitely has less rides. Where it tends to shine for me, and we're still just sticking with attractions here, is going to be for the kiddos, because there's a massive frozen splash pad area, and then they have like this entire section that are for the kiddos in this, like, it would be like the upper section of here has an entire kiddo friendly. It's got slides, it's got those lily pads, it has a pool area, and then that entire frozen splash pad area. The one thing I will say about both Disney park water parks is their lazy rivers stink. They are not good at all. But here's the thing: they used to be great.
Yeah,
they used to be like phenomenal, and they had like all these fun floating things in the center of the river, and it made it very, very fun and interactive and Disney. And that just is kind of lost. So both of the one here, I think the one in Typhoon Lagoon is better, but you're essentially just alone in the woods on a tube for a long time, for like, you know, a mile and a half or whatever.
Right.
So,
Yeah, a little more theming would be nice for that.
yeah, because it doesn't really feel like Disney. It just feels like I'm in Pennsylvania on a lazy river. That's what it feels like. Because you're literally, especially in Blizzard Beach, you're just wandering around in the woods.
Yeah.
So not much to look at. You do go through a small cave section, but other than that, there's nothing really there. This is definitely one of the weaker, if not weakest. It's the second weakest lazy river on this entire list of water parks.
Yeah. Well, and that's super disappointing because the rest of the water park has great theming. The whole thing is themed.
Yeah.
So
the whole thing looks gorgeous,
yeah.
minus this big giant thing that borders the whole entire thing.
Right. Yeah.
So
what can I was gonna say, so what can you tell us about the food?
Okay. So first up, there's lots of seating areas, which also means that there's going to be lots of eateries placed throughout the entirety of the park. They also have private cabanas if that's more your speed, and then you can just do waitress will bring whatever to your cabana for you if that's something you want. But dining, they start off with Lotta Wada Lodge, which is burgers, flatbreads, rice bowls. I really like the food at Lotta Wada Lodge. I think it's probably the best for savory items, and I really like the bowls, and I know a lot of people feel me on those rice bowls. They're very filling, they're affordable, and they're very tasty. They have the Cooling Hut, which is wraps, pretzels, popcorn, your typical stuff, and ice cream. Frostbite Freddy's, though, has ice cream, loaded nachos, cheese fondue, and a bunch of adult beverages. There's adult beverages all over the place, like including Arctic Expeditions, which is an entire adult bar. They have Avalanche, which has hot dogs and salads. Icy Expeditions has the Sandy Pale ice cream, which is iconic for both of the Disney water parks, in which it's a giant, you know, what you would go to the beach with, sand pail or bucket, and it's just loaded with soft serve and a bunch of toppings. People love sharing that. They also do specialty churros over there. They are not good. Don't get the churros. They're horrible. It'll take forever
Yeah.
to get them. But then they also have the warming hut, which has sandwiches, turkey legs, and ice cream. But for me, Lotta Wada Lodge is your don't miss. And then if you want something ice cream related, you go to Icy Expeditions.
Yeah, I didn't know they had turkey legs at the water parks.
Yeah, I mean
That's
it's
wild.
funny because there's some weird crossover things. Like you're always going to get Mickey pretzels, you're always going to
Yeah.
get Mickey premium bars and sandwiches. The turkey leg shows up everywhere except for Disney Springs. It's very funny.
That's it's so interesting because I feel like for the longest time you could only get them at Epcot or Magic Kingdom. Like there was the one spot at Magic Kingdom and then the America Pavilion at Epcot, and now I feel like it's just slowly
Well,
spread across across property.
yeah, I mean it was a California creation, and it was wild because they only serve the tom turkeys, which are a bigger turkey leg.
Yeah.
So in the 90s, walking around in Frontierland with a big honking turkey leg, it was people would always just go, "Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?" And
Yeah.
everybody would be piecing out to grab them. Like it was the snack, and it's funny that they're still a huge, huge fan favorite, and you
Yeah.
always see people with turkey legs.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of those things that you either love them or you hate them. Like and there's
Yeah,
no in between.
they have a very distinct odor and flavor that
Yeah.
you either are in or you are out.
Yeah, that was the one thing when I visited Disney when I was pregnant, because I did it with
Hmm.
both of my pregnancies. That was the one smell that I could not do. And I had to just like
Yeah,
avoid that area at all costs because I was like, nope, it's too strong. I can't handle it.
it has a very
Yeah.
distinct aroma.
Yes. That is for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Anything else about Blizzard Beach that we should kind of keep in mind if we're
I mean,
thinking
in
about
terms of
visiting?
planning your trips, there's so many different rides, and they're all different ride heights. You'll find something for everybody. They have tube slides, they have body slides, they have mat slides. They have lots of like pool areas, splash pad areas. The big thing for me is please take advantage in the summertime of this free option on check-in day. They want to fill up the water parks, but the truth is they aren't filled most of the time. In the summer, they'll be more filled just because of this free offering. But on your check-in day, go to either Blizzard or Typhoon Lagoon. You're really missing out. Like even for us, as I live in Florida with my family, we do not have the water parks and more feature or the water park season pass. Those are the two different offerings to get in multiple times or as many times as you want without having to pay an individual ticket price. But I was talking to my wife saying we should really take advantage of this and stay in June just somewhere cheap because they have Florida resident rates right now, like $100, because the ticket price alone for us and the kids would be over $450.
Yeah.
So the price of the room, we'll just book the room, go, enjoy Blizzard Beach or Typhoon or both of them. I don't know if you can jump. That's the only thing I don't know.
I
But yeah,
would
go to one of them.
imagine, well, yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't
That's
know.
a good question. I'll have to look that up and see because I don't know if technically it's one park entry. You know what I mean? Like once you use
Right.
it, you're done kind of thing
Yeah.
or not.
What I would say though is this is definitely the smaller of the two, and thematically, although interesting, I think Typhoon is a little bit stronger on Disney storytelling if that's important to you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and I think part of the hesitation too for some parents is like looking at a water park and thinking about like it almost seems to be more overwhelming than the theme parks just because it's more free range, more open, and then adding the water element into it. Like if you don't have super strong swimmers, I think that a lot of parents get nervous about that when it comes to water parks too.
Well, I mean, all of these places will have a splash pad area where you don't really have to be concerned about kids and their abilities. So I do think that's important. And the one thing that this Blizzard Beach has that none of them else is lack of stairs due to the chairlift, and you don't have to carry the tubes. That to me is
Yeah.
a really, really big, awesome factor. But this tends to be a little less busy than Typhoon Lagoon because Typhoon Lagoon has the largest wave pool on the planet. It's huge at a water park. So
Yeah. And I think too, remembering that a lot of these, the wave pools are going to be a zero entry situation. So you don't
yeah,
have to go super deep out into into the water. They've got splash
Mhm.
pad areas that are really good for little kiddos that maybe are not super strong swimmers or that you're worried about, you know. And if you,
Yeah,
especially with it being included, if you don't do a ton of the water slides and stuff, you're not losing money when you're going. It's already being included. You got it for free, so go there for a few hours and give it a shot and see what you think.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, perfect. Well, let's go ahead and hop over to Typhoon Lagoon since you've heard us mention that several times here so far. So with Typhoon Lagoon, it is a shipwreck theme. It includes 8 water slides, one kiddie area, a lazy river, and a wave pool. Same price point as far as if you were to purchase a ticket. Again, like we talked about, from May 26th through September 8th of 2026, that is included if you're staying on property. But it is 74 for adults and 68 for kids ages 3 to 9. And again, that same note about both of the water parks being open this summer for what they're now calling Cool Kids Summer, which is this is part of that kind of push that they're doing to draw more people in for the summer. Because despite what most people think, the summer is actually not always the busiest time at the Disney theme parks because it's very, very hot and people don't want to go there when it's very, very hot. So, um,
I will tell you, we are in this weird segment where, I track crowds and data from crowds. This is the lowest attendance for a Memorial Day weekend we've had in years.
wow, that's
We
crazy.
are, it's, and I think there's like a multitude of things that are happening, but like the real long and short, because I don't want to derail us too bad, but I think pricing, economic principles, and gas are like, I think a lot of
Yes,
locals are not doing their monthly trip who live in Florida. Maybe they're coming every 3 months because of the cost of gas because they're 4 or 5 miles or 4 or 5 hours away.
right.
And then flights with the closure of Spirit, that has really, even though they were only accounting for roughly about 10% of MCO flights, it was a low cost carrier. And now I'm flying in September and flights are very expensive.
Yes. Yeah, I was looking at, the last flight I booked was before Spirit closed and before kind of this most recent hike in gas prices. And now if I were to try to book that same flight, it's at least $150 more round trip.
Yeah, that's, and for, again, that's just if you were going by yourself.
Right.
You have to multiple that on families. And I
Yes.
do think those costs are starting to really eke in. And I'm very curious to see what happens with tourism this year in this summer.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. So, all of that being said, definitely take advantage if you are still planning to go and are able to go. Definitely take advantage of the water parks being an option for you
Yeah,
because
if you're staying on property, that might be alone a decision to pay a little bit more money to stay on property
yes,
at Disney so that you get this as a free offering. Because I
yeah,
do think, maybe that reduces one of your park days,
mm-hmm,
and you can use this as a really great Disney park day. It's really fun. Like the
yeah,
water parks are often slept on, and I think in the 90s, like water parks were the jam. Like
yeah.
everybody loved. I feel like they're not as popular.
No, no. And I think I don't know if it's because more local places have kind of stepped up their game to compete, and that's just kind of trickled
Yep.
out. So that way you get more slides and splash pads and things like that just kind of around. Or if it's just tourism, who knows when it comes to
Yeah.
that. But I think that part of, again, like we said, the other thing that's really great is you don't necessarily have to feel like you have to spend the entire day at the water park when you're getting that included also. Like you said, let's say you get into town around lunchtime, grab lunch at your resort and then go to the water park for a few hours in the afternoon, and you're not missing out, quote unquote, on the money that you're spending to be able to go. So, it's
Agreed.
definitely a good thing to consider for the summer months, absolutely.
Yep.
So, what can you tell us about kind of the overall experience over at Typhoon?
Typhoon Lagoon is a giant typhoon hits and it moves the ship, the Tilly, to the top of this, like, it almost looks like a volcano. And so the theme is this like storm ridden beachy town and giant wave pool. It's very, very aggressive. However, you'll notice if in the photo here or the park map, I'll scroll down a little bit so it's bigger. You notice that there's like break points with islands and there's things that are off to the side. That's for the littles.
Yeah.
So if you're in this whole section before this first wave, it's actually very calm and very shallow. So don't be afraid of the wave pool, even though it is massive. And you can actually surf in there. It's one of the few wave pools that's in a theme park that you can actually surf in. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But they do have a splash pad over here on the left hand side, albeit it is smaller in terms of offering from Blizzard Beach. You know, a big, large swath of this is taken up by that wave pool because it's just so huge. But that also means that you have a lot more beachfront with sand. So if your kiddos like sand and beaches, this is a giant oasis of, imagine that you feel like you're almost in a beach shanty town when you're here. And the lazy river is very fun. They have lots of tube slides again. They have multiple body slides. They also have, and this is unique to only this park, is they have the Crush and Gusher, which is a 3 different, what I would call like a water coaster, because it has the ability to go up on a raft. So it's like a 2-person seating raft, and it feels like a roller coaster because it goes up and down hills, which is not traditional. So it's actually quite fun and thrilling, and that does not exist at Blizzard Beach. But all the other styles of slides do exist in Blizzard Beach. In terms of dining, the number one spot is going to be the Leaning Palms, and that's where I always eat. They have a lot of flavorful things. You're thinking jerk chicken, but they also have burgers, pizza, sandwiches, salads. That's the spot, though. You're going to eat at the Leaning Palms. They have the best offerings. That Sand Pail ice cream is going to be at Happy Landings as well, so that's their main ice cream spot. They have Low Tide Lou's and Typhoon Tilly's, which Typhoon Tilly is actually pretty good if you like fried fish. So that's really where most of the seafood offerings are. They have multiple snack shacks and hot dogs. The one thing to note here, and at Blizzard Beach, and I didn't talk about it because I don't even know if they posted it up on here. It's a Joffrey's location, but both have these Joffrey's spots that do mini cake donuts, and they come with like little dipping sauces. Don't sleep on them. This is the only place to get them. And they're really, really tasty. And I thought they were going to be kind of lame because, like, I love donuts, but I'm not a big fan of just like straight up cake donuts.
Yeah.
They're really good. They're super shareable. They're like, imagine not a munchkin in a circular fashion, but like those little Entenmann style ones, just not coated. And then you have like the dippies. I think they do a really nice job with those as a fun snack.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
Who knew that you could get little donuts at the water parks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you totally can.
Now, you talked about at Blizzard Beach, one of the best things being the chairlift, and they don't have a lot of stairs, and they have kind of the automatic returns for the tubes and all that kind of stuff. What is that kind of situation at Typhoon? Because I know it's probably different than what we saw at Blizzard.
You're 80% of the time you're beat. You're walking upstairs, you're walking up ramps, and you're carrying tubes or stuff for the slides.
Yeah.
There are a decent amount of body slides here, but you're still walking up tons and tons of stairs.
Yeah.
On this map, 11 and 12, the Misadventure Falls and Crush and Gusher, they do, because they're newer, they both use a conveyor belt system, but those are the only ones that utilize that. So be prepared to climb quite a bit. However, there is one thing to note here. If you look at the mountain itself, labeled as number 10 here, that's the mountain trail. And it actually has really beautiful, like, if you don't feel like getting wet, but you just still want to like explore a little bit, you can go up all the way underneath the Typhoon Tilly and just explore like caves. There's a giant suspension bridge. It's really, really fun and interesting. And I've never seen that before in a water park because most water parks are not that ornate or interesting enough that you want to walk around. But it literally has trails and there's a little bit of water that splashes around. So you still can kind of get cool, but not get totally soaked. So that's a really fun offering that doesn't exist at any of the others that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like, so between Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, it seems like from what we've heard, Blizzard Beach would be a little bit more little kid friendly because it doesn't have as many steps. It's got a bigger splash pad area, those types of things. And Typhoon may be a little bit better for older kiddos if you had to choose, but obviously both of them are going to have things for everybody, like we talked about also.
Yeah, I always say typhoon for rides, blizzard for vibes. Like
Hmm.
one is much more laid back and chill and easygoing, and the other one is, oh my God, we have so much we could ride here and have a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
you pick your level of thrill or
Yeah.
just pick your thematic. You'll still have a great experience at either of them. And I discernibly wouldn't say that one is better than the other. It's just what kind of experience do you want to have?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And something else to note, though, if you are going to either of these theme parks from your Disney resort, pay attention to if you're going to, because you're going to have to take a bus to get there unless you choose to drive. I
Oh, yeah.
suggest doing a bus because the parking lot there is not super big, and the parking lot will fill up even if the water park is not at capacity. So keep that in mind, especially this summer. But take a look at how your resort bus gets there, because sometimes your resort bus may have to take a bus to like Disney Springs first and then hop on the bus to the water parks. So I know.
It's awful, dude.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing that
So,
I get why they do this system. You're probably going, this is the most illogical thing ever, but they systematically do that so people, because parking is free at the water
yes.
parks.
Right.
So because parking is free, it's just like Disney Springs. They
Hmm.
want to try to dissuade people from parking there and then using the buses for free
Right.
to negate having to pay for parking at the theme parks.
Right.
So it's the same thing with the resorts, same thing with here is they're just doing that to try to stop people.
Yes. So it's not great, unfortunately, but and the reason that I point that out is just pay attention to that because it may take you longer to get there than what you maybe originally think. Where typically it maybe will take you 20-25 minutes to get to one of the parks from your resort, depending on where you're staying and what the transportation option is. It may take you closer to 45 minutes to get to a water park because you have that changeover. And again, it depends on the time of day, it depends on the time of year, it depends on your resort. So just take a look at that, or ask at the front desk or concierge if you're not sure how to get to the water park or what your best option is. You can always choose to splurge and take a minivan or an Uber or a Lyft, or you can drive. I would suggest if it's later in the afternoon, you don't consider driving just because that is does tend to be when those uh, parking lots at the water parks will fill up more. So just take all those things into consideration when you're considering whether or not you want to visit.
There you go.
Cool. So that kind of takes care of our two Disney water park options. Let's hop next door over to Universal now and talk about their water park, which is Volcano Bay. Now, back a few episodes ago when we did our kind of deep dive into the Universal parks with Duck and Jess on our hub episodes, we talked a little bit about Volcano Bay, just kind of an overview. So if you want more information about like what they have there and things that maybe we don't touch on now, hop back to that Universal series we did a couple weeks back because there may be more information in there that we don't cover today. But Volcano Bay overall is kind of like a Polynesian theme vibe over there. In total have 12 water slides. They have two little kiddie areas, a lazy river, a rapid river, a wave pool, and then they also have two leisure pools that they promote on their website. Again, like we talked about at Disney, you can often find package deals, ticket deals to go to the water parks that are available online. But if you're just buying a single day Volcano Bay ticket, it is going to be $80 for adults and $75 for kiddos ages 3 to 9. And just a note for future planning, if you're listening to us and getting ready for a trip in the future, from October 26th of 2026 through the spring of 2027, Volcano Bay is going to be closed for refurb. So keep that in mind if you're looking at water park options and visiting in that time span. They have not announced an official opening date other than just spring 2027. So keep that in mind as you are planning ahead for that. So Kirk, what can you tell us about Volcano Bay?
Welcome to the world's greatest water park. It, it is the greatest water park. It feels like where the other ones don't necessarily, like Blizzard Beach, I don't necessarily feel like I'm on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a nice environment. And Typhoon definitely has more of like a beachy vibe. This is, I went and got transported to the Polynesian Islands,
Mm-hmm.
and everything there is thematically on point. This also is the best food at any water park, full stop. Almost, actually, Volcano Bay has better food than Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. The negative is it sucks getting there.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're staying on property, staying off property. It is a nightmare to get there because you're always going to have to jump onto a bus and then walk like half a mile to get to this thing just because of where it's located. The only other place that's okay is Cabana Bay because it's attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no like, they should just have an entrance at the back of that thing that empties out right into the water park, but they don't. You have to go all the way off to the side, go all the way past another tower, then go through security and still walk half a mile. So Volcano Bay is the most inconvenient but yet best water park you could get to.
Why do all these theme parks make them so hard to get to? Like, because Blizzard Beach and Typhoon aren't easy to get to either. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why it ended up that way. And it could be just development.
Google Maps because this just frustrates me to no end. You have to see what I'm talking about to like really get it.
Yeah.
And to know.
And my guess is part of it was just in development. They had to put things where they had to put things because of space restraints and things like that. But it just doesn't, it's just so frustrating because we talk about that they're often overlooked. Well, yeah, they're overlooked because it's so hard to get to them. It's not convenient. They don't make it easy to get there.
Yeah. So here is Universal Studios Florida. Here's Islands of Adventure. Here's the parking garage. This is the closest you can park to Volcano Bay. Now, note in this map, Volcano Bay is not located on this map. You have to scroll all the way over here. So it means like you literally have to park in the bottom of the parking garage on the right-hand side. And when you check in, they'll ask you if you're going to the theme park or the water park because you literally have to park in a completely different section. And then you will take a bus that goes up this little route and they will park right under this, or they'll drop off right in this corral. But you'll notice there is a street here. You have to walk under the street, upstairs, through an escalator, and then you finally get to the greatest park that exists. And it really is. Here's the thing. It's so annoying to get there that I canceled my pass for the best water park. Because it really, like, if I could have gotten there quick and easy, I would never eat in the Universal normal parks.
Right.
I would go to the water park and eat because the food is outrageously delicious, flavorful. Like, we're talking about some of the best Polynesian, Asian flavors, flatbreads, sandwiches. Like, everything they have there is lovely and incredible, but man, oh man, is it annoying.
Yeah, that's super frustrating.
Yes, it really is.
You're good. Go ahead.
All right. So let's talk about, let's break this down the same exact way we did everything else. Like, there is a mixture of body slides. There's a mixture of tube slides. There's a mixture of speed slides. There's a wave pool. There's splash pads. There's jumping off points. There's spots for kiddos. This actually has one of the best splash pads for kiddos. It is gigantic. They also have fun little water guns that you can shoot down at people in the lazy river. This is where this really shines for people like me who love lazy rivers. They have two. One is a very adventurous, crazy river, which everyone is required to wear a life jacket. Doesn't matter if you're a good swimmer or not. Te'ewa, the Fearless River, actually has a built-in wave pool at one section, or like wave generator. So when you go past it, it will create a giant wave and push everybody down. And then there's like lots of like splash areas. Now that one is fun, but I think it's okay. It's definitely like overrated by a lot of people because of the experience. I have to put on a life jacket. It's super thrilling. Problem is, if the wave thing isn't working, that thing stinks. Half of it is just like boring walls. And you're like, I hate this. Now, in terms of thematics, this has the best themed lazy river because you go through the volcano. Their regular, normal lazy river is very calm. That's the Kopiko Y Winding River. By the way, this is just an aside. Good luck saying any of the slides here. I've been there tons of times, and I still don't know how to say oye on a drop slides, or the Puku Uliti, or the Maku Maku Puli. Good luck. It's just I just go that one. Do you want to go on that one? It's way easier. But the lazy river is lovely and beautiful. They also have, I guess I kind of lied. They do have a walking path that goes through the volcano, and it has these fun little secrets. They used to use these things called the tapu tapu, which would have a virtual queue system. So
Mm.
you'd put yourself in a virtual queue, and then you'd basically get to walk on to most of the rides with less than a 10-minute wait.
Hmm.
They have removed that system due to cost and budgets. So now
Oh.
it's regular standby lines. If
Oh.
you are going here and rope dropping it, you're going to want to go to Krakatoa, the aqua coaster. That one can get lines up to an hour to 2 hours long, especially in the summertime. This is a very popular water park because it's just so expansive, beautiful, and wonderful. It's awesome. They also have the best cabanas here. So if you want a more private experience, there's ones by the wave pool that are almost like a treetop, and they're dual double deckers, so you can get onto the top floor.
Ooh.
Amazing, unreal. If you're going to spend the money and you have that kind of money, that's the experience you want to have. You will feel like you are on an island paradise escape. They do have lots of rest areas. They have lockers, and they have that at all the other ones too.
Hmm.
But there's a lot more secluded areas where you can kind of find a nook, even on a really busy day in the far off reaches. You just have to go further out, and there'll be nobody there.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's so interesting that they got rid of that virtual queue, because I know that was it made
Big
it.
selling point for them.
Yeah, and it made those bigger slides more accessible to people who weren't able to wait in line or didn't want to wait in line. They could just use that. So that's kind of a bummer that they
Well,
did
I
away
mean, they
with
still
that
have like
system.
mobility access stuff.
Yes,
So
of
if you have
course.
mobility or if you have needs, they do still have that. And it's actually a really lovely system at Universal. The one at Disney got so funked up, but
Yeah.
this one is still really great and very inclusive. However, what I would say is like back in the past, you could run and go to Krakatoa, grab yourself a queue for it, and if it was low enough, you could still get in the standby like ride now,
Hmm.
and you would just pop right through. But
Right.
yeah, that is done. Now, food wise,
Yes.
food is
Let's
spread out
hear.
everywhere, and you're thinking like think pot stickers, think really unique tacos. Um, you're getting lots of different flatbreads, like barbecue chicken flatbreads with pickled onions on them. Uh, there are lots of places to eat. Honestly, you really can't go wrong with any one specific spot. The one unique thing that they have here, ice cream wise, is at Coca Paroca ice cream, and they have a this really good. It's like multi flavored ice cream, like
Mm.
where it's I forget all the flavors of it, but it's delicious. It's like rainbow colored, and
Ooh.
it's like that's the can't miss treat if you're gonna go there.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, with the food in a lot of these places, from what I understand, it's not like a central food court. A lot of it is like spread out throughout the park. So you really kind of have to be aware of where you want to eat and figure out like where it's located in the water park, because otherwise you may be traipsing back and forth all day trying to get food.
Yeah, you're walking around everywhere,
Yeah.
and I mean, when you look at the park itself, right? Most of the good things are right up in the front,
Hmm.
so that's at least helpful.
Yeah.
So like the ice cream Coca is right there to the left as soon as you walk in, and then the Koaloa, the reef restaurant, is right there. Those are probably the two places I would eat the most.
Hmm.
But you're correct. If you want to go to Waka Wai Eats, you gotta go all the way in the back of this place.
Right.
And there's lots of like bars, like Bamboo is back here too. I mean, again, if you're looking for something specific, then yeah,
Right.
it's you're gonna have to very particularly pick and choose.
Hmm.
However, if you're just wandering, there's great food almost everywhere. So
Right.
it's not that scary of a thing to try to find stuff.
Right. Pros and cons to that for sure. Because if you're just looking for whatever's close, you're going to find something good.
Yeah, I remember really liking this feasting frog. The other thing too is like again, if you want vibes, like you want just like kind of an all-inclusive island vibe, this is the spot for you. Hey, do they have can I drop a here, let me see if I can drop a little dude here. I mean, this is the where's the oh, I didn't want him to go there. I want him to go like somewhere cool, like where we can actually see. How do I? Oh God, now I'm acting like a boomer. Hang on, give me a second. I'll figure this out.
I have
I
faith.
wanted the picture right there because it looks so incredible. Hang on. Can I go here? Okay, this is at night,
Oh,
but
nighttime.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
You can't tell me, and there's bars that are located all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You just chill and sip. Like, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous. There's no water park that when I walk in, I'm awestruck and like, oh my God, this is incredible. Volcano Bay is the only one.
Yeah.
It's just full stop. That's the spot.
It is so interesting to me that Volcano Bay and Typhoon Lagoon on the surface have such a similar structure in them. You know, that like they
Yeah.
both have the kind of volcano-y mountain looking piece to them.
This one's so much better though.
Yeah.
Everything about Volcano Bay smashes any other water park you've been to. Like that's just there's no comparison.
Yeah.
This is the spot.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna pick one water park and you want to go all out, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't go to like Uni's getting a little bit popular, so I
Yeah.
think Volcano Bay could be in there too. But yeah, it's just so well received by guests.
Yeah. And again, look for those deals through Universal. They have ticket deals all the time that you can do. Contact your travel agent, figure out what kind of deals they have so that way you're not having to pay full price because oftentimes you can find some sort of a multi-day ticket deal that includes the Universal parks, includes Epic Universe, includes the water park. They have all of those that exist. So look into that to help you if you're, you know, if going to Disney because they're free is a draw, make sure you take a look at the packages at Universal before you make your decision.
Yep.
Cool. Well, now I feel like everything else is going to be a letdown, but we have to continue on and keep going.
Gotta go out with a bang, you know?
I know, right? I should have put them in a different order. Mistakes were made. That's fine.
No,
So let's move on now to SeaWorld. Because believe it or not, SeaWorld has their own water park that is called Aquatica. Its theme is, according to online, they consider it a South Pacific wildlife theme over at Aquatica. That is their terminology.
I would call it Australia.
Okay.
It's
Perfect.
100% Australia.
There you go. So it's got 10 water slides, 2 kiddie areas. It's got a lazy river, a rapid river, and 2 wave pools. Again, tickets online if you're going to just Aquatica, you're looking at $52, and that's for ages 3 and up. So they don't segregate it out based on your age like we've seen at the other parks. But also SeaWorld has lots of ticket deals that you can find with the other parks and everything. And we'll talk about some of those here a little bit later when we get to some of the other theme parks that are owned and operated by kind of the same entities. And then as far as food goes, we'll hear from Kirk here in just a moment, but do note that they also have some all-day dining, which I'm sure Kirk will talk about, that is currently available online for $45, but I know there are deals with that as well too. So Kirk, I'll throw it over to you to tell us all about Aquatica.
So if Volcano Bay is the best, this is actually the one that I go to the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's because it's so easy to get in and out of this place.
Mm-hmm.
And it also has my favorite lazy river, which is my favorite type of water park attraction. They actually have 2 lazy rivers here. One's Loggerhead Lane. Now, what is unique is Aquatica is also animal habitats. So this is going to be very uniquely different because this is attached across the street from SeaWorld. And SeaWorld is a big AZA accredited zoo. Well, so is Aquatica. They have animal habitats within the attractions themselves. So if you go on Loggerhead Lane, you'll be able to not only see the Commerson dolphins, but you also get to see a wide variety of African cichlids in the fish grotto. So there's wildlife here. There's even Reef Plunge, which is a body slide that goes through the Commerson dolphin exhibit. So the dolphins are around you in the slide as you're going through, which
That's
is a
so
very cool experience.
So
it's
cool.
very, very cool. And then they have easily Ray Rush is the best gigantic tube slide in terms of thrill. So one of those family raft rides.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a great splash pad for kids called Walkabout Waters. They also have for even smaller kids, the Turi's Kid Cove, which has lots of different slides, splash pad, that kind of thing. They do have wave pools here. They do have tons of sand, and it's almost always easy to get yourself a chair, which is
Mm.
really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have tube slides and body slides. They've got all that. They even have those drop trap door slides that go down really, really fast. And then they have kind of like an aqua coaster with Riptide Race, but that's one of our favorites as well. But the star of the show, Roa's Rapids. It is the fastest, most fun, most engaging, beautiful lazy river that is almost entirely encapsulated by shade. So it means you're not getting burned. And I could spend hours in that lazy river. It is my favorite thing to do in a water park. However, they have just changed as of 2 years ago. They used to have this Tassie's Twist.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Tassie's Underwater Twist. It's unique because this is a raft ride that goes into a cyclone that is enclosed, and they put projections on it with noise.
Yeah.
So as you're going through the inside, and they do change this out sometimes, like when they have their nighttime events, but it's like an immersive thematic experience rather than just a raft ride, which I think is spectacular.
Yeah, seeing your videos of that has been like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely incredible. And I'll be
Mhm.
sure to link some of that in the show notes. That way if you guys are listening, you can find that
Yeah.
if you want to take a look, because it's pretty incredible. You come out of the tube slide into this dome and it's just all projections.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very, very, very
Now
cool.
let's talk the bad thing. So we do have all day dining for 45,
Mhm.
and this is one of those ones where you can eat every 90 minutes. I really don't suggest you getting multiples of these. It's enough food for you to share, and then if you want to get more food, you just keep going back to these places and getting more and more. The best thing that you can get here is either barbecue or pizza. So
Mm.
you're going to want to go to either the Kookaburra Kitchen down here on the bottom right, or Walkabout Pizza, which has these flatbreads. And then the last one is this Papa's Pizza, which they also do these like really good like handhelds,
Mm.
and they're almost like press sandwiches,
Mm-hmm.
or like almost like a calzone. That's your three safe places. Everywhere else is the Wild West. You might get a hot dog, you might get something else. It's like
Oh boy.
the food here. I love Aquatica. I love SeaWorld. They're great people, but their food services is very lacking. And I've had the worst burger I've ever had in a theme park at the Mango Market.
Oh,
And
no.
it was so sad eating that thing. It was actually, no, I think it was at Waterstone Grill. Stay away from Waterstone Grill. It is horrible.
Oh no.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's horrendously bad.
Yeah, unfortunately that's it's hard because I feel like in these water parks, because they're not as populated as maybe some of the theme parks, that they don't get as much attention from corporate when it comes to some of those details, and so they're not putting a ton of
Well, I mean, when
time
you're doing a
into
$45 dine all day,
Right.
like you can't have super high quality cost foods, because as a result, you would just take a bath on the dine all day.
Right.
So they have to come up with a way to still make it profitable.
Yeah.
And obviously, like drinks and fries, all that stuff is cheap. But
Yeah.
if you're getting like the higher end stuff, like if you ate at Kookaburra Kitchen twice, you're getting probably $70 worth of food, because the food costs here are very expensive, and you can't
Yeah.
bring in outside food or bev into these spots. So
Right. Well, and especially because they run so many frequent deals also, where you're getting like the dine all day for
Yep.
next to nothing.
yeah, I mean, and the other thing too with this place is be prepared for, because it's so accessible and it's so easy to get there, and they really have great water slides, and it's very inexpensive. It's jammed.
Yeah.
Like the summertime here it's high key stinks. Like you're better off being in the March through May, or the September through December, because these places
Right.
still stay open as long as it's like 65 degrees.
Yeah.
They don't heat the water here. So
Mm.
that is one thing to note. If you do show up in the earlier seasons, it's going to be a polar plunge.
Yeah, that doesn't sound ideal, especially if you're considering taking children with you. That You know, although most
Mhm.
kids probably do better with colder water than adults do, honestly, but that doesn't
Yep.
sound ideal for that kind of a trip.
Hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I think that gives us enough of an overview on Aquatica and what
Yeah,
is there and
let's head to
is not there.
Legoland.
Let's go ahead over to Legoland. So the Legoland water park is a little bit different in that it is basically integrated into Legoland. They don't actually sell separate tickets to the water park alone because it is so integrated. It is a Lego Oasis theme. Definitely a smaller option. It's got 2 water slides, 3 kiddie areas, a lazy river, and a wave pool. And again, they have no water park only tickets, but if you're doing a 1 day ticket to Legoland, you can do what they call a multi park ticket, which will get you into Legoland, the theme park, and the water park, and that's 78 starts at $78. And some of that pricing is it varies and changes based on the time of year and things like that. But yeah, all of their food and all that kind of stuff, it's all connected into Legoland, so it doesn't really, there's nothing specific to the water park to note when it comes to that kind of information. Kirk, have you been to this water park? This was one that I wasn't sure if you had ever been to the water park side of
I have.
Legoland.
I've been here twice.
Okay. So what can you tell us? What do we need to know about
It's
this
okay.
water park?
It's very okay.
Perfect.
Like the best way I can explain it is if you're staying overnight in one of the Legoland hotels, which I highly suggest you do, particularly the pirate one is fabulous. It
Mhm.
also includes breakfast. It's so well themed. But if you're going to do 2 days, the water park is really nice on, and you got to look at the hours because right now, like Legoland's hours are 10 to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Like they really cut hours. So you really need to plan ahead of time. In the summer, the hours get a lot longer, but we're still in the off season. They're not open late at
Yeah.
all, so you're not going to get like the biggest bang for your buck. But the water park itself is extremely tiny. They have a lazy river. The one thing that's fun about the lazy river is you saw in that previous image that there's like Lego bricks. So
Mhm.
my kids like building with these inflatable Lego bricks. They also have them at the pools at the Legoland Hotel and the Pirate Adventure Hotel as well.
Mhm.
They have a big splash pad area. There's a nice wave pool. The wave pool also has those buildable bricks. So like kids are building walls and then the waves knock them down. So that's like a
Mm.
really unique only experience at Lego to be able to build brick builds and then have them smash down. They also allow you to build like little boats. There's a section in here for that, which I think is really fun, and you can like put them down a little course. They do have 2 tube slides, and then there's 3 body slides. They're all okay. It's a very small water park, but if you're going to be there for 2 days, I would suggest going to the water park. Or if this is a skip for you because it's not like it's a nice to have, not a need to have.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of good deals. Sometimes you can get this so cheap that it's like, all right, whatever, just throw it on there.
Right, for sure. And if you're interested in hearing more about those resorts that Kirk was talking about, we talked about the Legoland resorts on the last episode that he joined me for on Mom Street. So hop back a few if you want to know more about those resorts because we did show lots of photos and they are phenomenally themed. And like Kirk said, highly recommend if you're venturing out to Legoland because it is not
Mhm.
super close to the other Orlando area theme parks. So it is
Yeah,
more of
you're
a
looking
haul.
about 45 from Orlando theme parks.
Yeah.
With traffic, it's going to be longer.
Yes.
And there's nothing else out there.
Right.
Like you are doing Legoland, and that's it. That's why I
Right.
recommend if like this is going to be a part of your trip, you really should stay over and get the full experience because those hotels have a lot to offer in fun thematic experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the best themed suites I've ever stayed in. There's like multiple bunk beds for the kiddos, and it's really great.
Yeah, so definitely look at that. And again, the water park is very small in comparison, which is why they don't sell a separate ticket for it because it's just included in those multi park tickets
But
that you can
you can't
get.
even get to it. It's
Right,
literally in the back of the park. You
yeah,
have to go through Legoland. Like there's
right,
no other separate entrance. So it's you if you wanted to, you can't even rope drop this traditionally because it doesn't open when Legoland opens. So
right.
like it's hours after Legoland's open that the water park opens.
Yeah, so definitely something to note. Take a look at the hours, plan your day accordingly so that way you're not sorry when you get back there and it's not open yet. So
Mhm.
definitely take a look at all of that. Well, I think that's really all there is to say about the Legoland water park, just because it is very small. Let's continue our way to the, I guess, western side of this area. And head over to Busch Gardens over in Tampa. So again, this is not truly Orlando. We are headed over to the Tampa side of Florida, but wanted to mention it as an option. They have the water park called Adventure Island. Kirk, what is the theme over here? Because when I looked online, there wasn't really like a, hey, this is what you're gonna get over here.
Florida.
Okay, there, that would be why.
It really so like when you distinctly are in Aquatica,
Mm.
there's like all the safety spiels are like, "Good day, mate. Make sure you're very safe in the river." You know, like here it's just like the endless surf river coaster. It's like very pedestrian. The only
Yeah.
thing like in the lazy river, they talk about a lot of things that existed in Busch Gardens and
Mm.
thematically why they made decisions. Like there's lots of like Caribbean language, but there's no theme here.
Cool. Which is
There's
probably
zero.
why I couldn't find a theme when I tried to look it up.
Yeah, there's not.
Yeah. Inside Adventure Island, you've got 10 water slides, two kiddie area, splash pad areas, a lazy river, and a wave pool. Um, Again, this is one that you can buy a single day ticket for if you choose to. It starts at $48 for ages 3 and up for that. They do also have an all day dining here for $50 currently online. Again, that price fluctuates and you can find deals, and we'll talk about that here briefly in a moment. But starting at $48 for tickets to Adventure Island. Kirk, what do we need to know about this one?
This place is actually pretty great. Like where Aquatica fails on food, this place actually has decent food. Like Mango
Mm.
Joe's is their barbecue, and it's actually quite decent. The Surfside Cafe is like your pedestrian hot dog stuff. Captain Pizza's good. He's got pizza, but their pretzels are
Hmm.
outrageously good. And Hang Ten sells like a tiki shaped pretzel with cheese. It is very, very good. And it's like kind of like a craft beer bar.
Hmm.
So they definitely plussed the food offerings here. They also have the Duval Street Market, which is never open, so you can ignore that. That's a classic thing that happens at SeaWorld and Busch Gardens is they have eateries that never open.
Hmm.
But lots of big raft rides. This one has something that's really unique. They have a family raft ride that's called Wahoo Remix that plays music. So you'll
Hmm.
be like listening to the weekend as you're going down. And that's really fun. Like
Yeah.
I felt very back at home because we got Living on a Prayer from Bon Jovi. I'm originally from Jersey.
Yeah.
So my family and I were all singing that just this past weekend on Wahoo Remix, which we love.
Nice.
Like we go to this water park a lot.
Hmm.
Colossal Curl is their best slide, hands down. Not even close. That's a big family one with one of those huge, like up the wall kind of vibes.
Hmm.
And then the kiddos, the lazy river is god awful here. It's really bad. It's really dirty too most of
Hmm.
the time. Like I wish I had a net to like clean it. But they
Yeah.
do have splash. They have a lot. They just redid. There are two splash pad areas for kiddos. Their Castaway Falls, their Shakalaka, really good for young kids. And their Paradise Lagoon is just basically a pool with those lily pad things that kids can cross over. They have a zero entry wave pool that's nice. It's very family friendly, and there's lots to offer in terms of thrill. There's mat slides, there's tube slides, there's body slides, there's speed slides. They do have like a micro aqua coaster kind of thing called Rapid Racer, which was closed for 2 years, but it's back open now.
Hmm.
So this is a good one. And again, I feel like you would be doing better with the dining plan here because their food is not as bad as
Yeah.
Aquatica.
Well, and it tends to run a little bit more pricey, so I guess that makes sense if the food they clearly know their food is better quality at Adventure Island because they're charging more for the dine all day.
Yeah, I think the food purveyors are different,
That could be.
where they
Yeah.
share them at United,
Right.
but they might all be like Aramark or something like that, or U.S. Foods or something.
Hmm.
So who knows?
Right, right. Now, how is you talked about that they've got a lot to offer. How is the step ratio here? We've talked about steps at some of the Disney ones. Do you have
Oh,
to
the
go up
worst,
and
the absolute worst. This is like this reminds me of Dorney Park when I was a kid. You are lugging rafts, you
yeah.
are climbing stairs. It's very utilitarian, where it's like wooden staircases or metal staircases, and
Mm-hmm.
they're endless.
Yeah.
Solar Vortex, I love that ride. I hate going on it because I have to carry the family raft ride on my head
Oh my
and just
gosh.
like and go upstairs,
Right.
downstairs, upstairs. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
But we really like the ride, so I do it anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe once or twice on your visit, not over and over again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's something to note too. If, Busch Gardens, if you're in the Orlando area, Busch Gardens is not just a super close day trip to get out there. It's going to take you a while to get over to that side of the state, so you just have to plan accordingly. If you're going to be over there and you're planning to go to, Busch Gardens for a day, stay overnight one night and then do Adventure Island for a partial day the next day before you head back to Orlando, you definitely have to plan out the your trek over to that side of the state if that's what you're going to be doing.
I would also caution you. It's about an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it's better if you're doing a day trip. Just go to Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to do Adventure Island. If you're doing a day with an overnight, really be careful on hotels because
Mm-hmm.
this area is a little bit funky.
Mm-hmm.
There's some much better spots that are much safer in Tampa than right outside this area. So
Yeah.
just a heads up there.
Yeah, take a look at some reviews of different hotels in the area and go from there. And if you need suggestions, please reach out to us. We can help look at what you're looking at and maybe guide you one way or the other. If you are someone that's listening that is planning to go to Busch Gardens and stay overnight, let us help you with that aspect of your trip planning.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So that kind of wraps up what I would call the traditional water parks that we're going to talk about today. We do have one more location that we are going to talk about because I feel like we can't talk about water park type experiences in this area without talking about Discovery Cove. So it is,
Heck yeah.
yeah, it is not a true water park. So let me just be very clear on that. It is not somewhere where you're going to find a ton of wave pools and slides and things like that.
You won't find any of that.
Exactly. But what it does is it provides you with different water-based experiences with the wildlife in this area of Florida. So it's got several different sections to it. Dolphin Lagoon, Explorers Aviary, Serenity Bay, and the Grand Reef. And basically what it provides is animal encounters and other experiences that are all water-based. So there's different packages you can book. The most common one is the dolphin swim package where you get in the water with the dolphins and have that experience with them. That starts around $185 and then it goes up from there with different add-ons and package deals and things like that. The other reason that I really wanted to mention this is that Discovery Cove does a lot of ticket package deals between Discovery Cove, SeaWorld, Aquatica, and Busch Gardens. So you can get a multi-experience ticket through Discovery Cove for some of these other offerings that we've already talked about today. So to do something like Discovery Cove with SeaWorld and Aquatica, that starts at $225, which that price difference is not that drastic. It definitely saves you a lot when you're looking at considering some of these experiences. If you add Busch Gardens onto that, it starts at $241. So that's a much better deal if you're already planning to do a lot of these that we've talked about. You definitely want to look at the package deals that Discovery Cove has to offer. Now, Kirk, I know that you've been actually somewhat recently to Discovery Cove. So what can you tell us about this
Mel
location?
and I went here. Oh, dude, I can't say enough good things about Discovery Cove. Discovery Cove is like an all-inclusive resort, and that's the feel of it, like a day resort, coupled with some of the most wild animal experiences that you can have. And it does not feel like you are in Orlando, Florida. You've stepped into a different world, and it is very unique and different. So the first thing is all of your food and drinks are included, including breakfast and lunch. They also have snack bars open, which unlimited Uncrustables. So good. Dude, I must have stuffed 40 in Mel's bag on the way out. The Laguna Grill has actually really delicious food. We also really like the pizza at the Hibiscus Hideaway Bar. They also have these really good cookies and brownies at the Blue Bamboo Bar. The food here is really, really decent. Like, because everything's all inclusive and the ticket price is a lot higher at $185, they can have better offerings. Now, here's where it gets really cool. is that in the Grand Reef, they have this underwater walking experience where you put on like a dive helmet and you go like 15 feet under the water. And then they give you like a walking tour with all of these fish everywhere. I haven't posted any of that stuff. I posted like 3 videos
Yeah.
and it's not even the best of the best just because I took so much content and I was
Yeah.
like, I got to get back to this another time. So I'll be posting that stuff. But you can also feed sharks, swim with giant rays that are like 12 feet long. The dolphin experience was incredible. Like you get to literally like pet and hold and hug a little dolphin. It was like, this is the greatest thing. And then you have like a whole other section that's kind of like a lazy river that goes through an aviary. And then there's a freshwater oasis. And there's like another area that's called Wind Away. That area kind of stinks. I'm going to be straight up with you. It's like, it's very, all the water here is cold. They do have wetsuits for you that you can use, but the water is cold everywhere here because that's what naturally the animals are. Like the Wind Away River was a little warmer because it's, you know, they also have like a capuchin monkey area and sea otters and stuff like that. And it's all integrated because, again, this is like a wildlife habitat, AZA accredited zoo. Again,
Right.
they also have like flamingos, but this is the I want to get bang for my buck, both food, drink with wild animal experiences. The one that the experiences that I would say you have to do: Dolphin Lagoon and Sea Venture. That's it. Like you have to pay for those extras because that's where this place really shines. You'll be fine if you didn't do it, but you're going to miss out on some of the best stuff they have to offer.
Yeah, and I would also caution you to make sure you look at the website because they do have some age suggestions and restrictions on some of these experiences, obviously, given that you are looking at being around live animals. So depending on the ages of your group, it may or may not be an option for you. So just make sure you look at that before you gung-ho start planning because Kirk says it's awesome.
It's like, if I could go every year to Discovery Cove, I would.
Yeah.
Because it's just so and you know, like Discovery Cove is really interesting because they have these like crazy deals sometimes for like I'm a platinum pass holder at SeaWorld and Aquatica and Busch Gardens. There's sometimes where like we could go for like $100.
Yeah.
Which to me is like they're giving away.
Right.
That.
Yes, so that's what I was.
And that would be a day where I wouldn't necessarily splurge on all the other things.
Yes.
I'd probably just be like, we're eating our face off and going in the Grand Reef all day.
Right.
You would find me snorkeling forever.
Right. And that's what I was saying with some of those package deals is you want to take a look at those because so many of them are significantly cheaper, especially considering, like you said, you get all your food, you know, included at Discovery Cove, and then you're getting a SeaWorld ticket for next to nothing in comparison. So looking at
you have to buy those packages, like Jackie's saying. You have to.
Yeah. And again, you can talk to you know, if you're booking through a travel agent or you're doing any work through a travel agent, they're going to be able to look up those deals for you as well. But all of those parks, Discovery Cove, SeaWorld, Aquatica, Busch Gardens. Now, I didn't specifically see Adventure Island included in the Busch Gardens theme or in the Busch Gardens package, but I would assume that potentially you could look at that also as an option. As well. So just looking at all of those because they all are interconnected through, you know, ownership and things like that. Definitely the way to go when it comes to looking at any of those. If you're going to do more than one, you need to look at those package deals through Discovery Cove.
Agreed.
Cool. So that kind of is the rundown of different water park and water experiences, I guess, in the kind of greater Orlando area. But Kirk, I think the last question that we need to chat about is if a family had like one extra day that they wanted to plan on doing one of these water parks, what do you recommend kind of the top 2 or maybe even 3 options? And what do you think is not worth your time at all?
If you're staying at Disney and you have older kids, use the free water park to go to Typhoon Lagoon. If you are staying at Disney and you have younger kids or you don't feel like doing stairs, go to Blizzard Beach. If you're doing Universal or you just want to have the best water park experience that feels like you're on a vacation that doesn't involve animals, you go to Volcano Bay at Universal. And then if you want to have I'm at the Caribbean and I'm getting a little you go to Discovery Cove, which is kind of wild that you can
Yeah.
do some of these things. I think like at some point, I think they cut off the Sea Venture underwater things if they
Mhm.
know you've been drinking
I would
because
think
it's wild.
they have a limit when it comes to that
Oh,
they're
there's
paying
definitely a limit.
attention to.
Hmm.
Well, and that's again, all of that is good to know. And I think it's again, like we talked about at the very beginning, so many of these experiences are overlooked and so many of them are just awesome that you really need to consider your time. And even if you've only got a partial day or you don't want to spend the entire day there, doing one of these is still likely going to be worth the money that it would take to get you there.
Yeah, I would
Nice.
agree. You're not gonna have a bad experience at any of these places,
Right.
and like your budget and your goals for your group will dictate, which one of these is a better fit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, before we end our time here, Kirk, I do just want to give you a chance to chat about. We talked about your theme park app mode last time that we had you on for Mom Street. Now, I know that some of this stuff that we've talked about today is actually included in mode already and more to come. So, what can you tell us about, first of all, about what water park information we can find on there, and then just what's been going on with the app since we last chatted?
Yeah, so the app is pretty awesome. If you haven't seen it before, it's called Mode. You can get it on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store completely for free. And it has, wait times, predictive reopening times. Here's the deal. These theme parks are crazy confusing. There's a lot going on. And if you want to be an expert without having to do any research, waste any time, watch zero content, listen to zero podcasts, including Jackie's, you
Hey.
could tap you can download something like Mode, and it will basically school you up into a theme park expert instantly, right at your fingertips. It's got all the information that you're looking for. Now, in terms of the water parks, the biggest thing that you'll use is food and
Mm-hmm.
dining. So
Yep.
you'll be able to search the water parks, particularly right now we have the two Disney parks, so Blizzard and Typhoon, as well as Universal's Volcano Bay. We don't have integration yet of Aquatica, although that is coming. Same with Adventure Island, that is coming. Legoland Florida would be coming as well. I did take photos and menus when I was there last. So, yeah, download Mode, check it out. We have over 12,500 users now at this point, and it's growing like a weed. People really love it. Someone sent me a message that said, uh, when I use your ride reopening times, it feels like I'm using God mode in the theme parks. I thought
I
that was a
love
pretty
that.
good endorsement. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And while you can't find the like wait times for the water slides and things like that, because Disney just doesn't publish that, like it's just
no,
not
there's
something.
nothing in those
Right,
parks for
right.
wait times at any of
Yes.
the water parks. There's zero wait
Yeah.
times.
But if you're using the planning feature on Mode, you still can plan out what food you want to go to and things like that.
Hmm.
So that's at least got part of your day planned through
Yep.
the app, which is super helpful, I think.
The other thing is if you already have Mode, we're doing a large integration that allows trip planning. So, for example, Jackie will help folks with planning their trip or navigating lightning lanes. There's a trip sharing function that's going to be added within the next month, as well as California. So think about Disneyland and Universal. And then the entirety of the app is getting a large graphical overhaul. So lots of new changes, and it's really exciting. Modes, I just want to help you have a better experience with your family, and Mode will get you there fast without having to do any of the legwork. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
doing this for 26 years. We spent 3 years on the app, and so you don't have to spend any time.
Yeah. And I think that's part of why I love promoting it over here on Mom Street. Not only because I believe in it and I love the app and I'm friends with Kirk, but because it truly does make it so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
It really simplifies the planning process and it gives you all of the information without it being confusing. It's easily accessible. You can find what you need to find without having to scroll through 4 pages of ads on another app.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if they haven't been able to download or haven't heard of Mode yet, Kirk, where can they find more information about it and where can they download?
You could either go to mowd.io, mode.io, or just type in MOWD in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Find the one that's got the burger and roller coaster, and you'll find us.
Perfect. I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for your time today and sharing all of your knowledge about the water parks. This is something that I have very little knowledge on, aside from just giving you the facts, which we gave, but I think insight for somebody who's been there before is so much more valuable. So thank you so much, Kirk, for taking your time with us today and sharing your knowledge of all things water park.
I love the water parks. So if you've never done them before, maybe think about adding them, because it's usually not a large cost, or sometimes zero cost.
Right. Definitely worth considering for sure. Well, thank you all so much for being here for this episode of Mom Street USA. If you've got additional questions or want additional information about anything we talked about today, or have ideas for future topics for us, please reach out to us, momstreetusa@gmail.com, or at momstreetusa on all of the different social media platforms. Find us over on Patreon at Mom Street USA. That's a great place to chat with us about upcoming topics and things that are going on in the Disney and Universal and more theme parks. But for today, that is going to wrap up our episode. So thank you all so much for your support, and I will see you on the next episode of Mom Street USA. Bye, everyone.
Yay.
And scene. Awesome. Hooray. Thanks, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah, of course.
And thanks, everyone, for hanging. Thanks for being here. Dean, I would pay to watch you find the limit of consumption at Discovery Cove, so that could be...
He's not exactly the right person to go to Discovery Cove, because he would not go in the water, and that is not the point.
That would be entertaining.
It would be fun.
Sure.
It would be fun to take Dean to Discovery Cove. It's a manta ray. Look how big it is. It's crazy, really. There's so many fishies just swimming. No, I don't know what he'd be like, to be honest.
I don't know.
Because we don't really do. The only thing he does is like rides when
Right.
we're here, and eat. Rides and eat.
Right. Yeah. We'd have to test the limit on water rides with that, with all the different slides and everything, and whether or not he'd go down them. It would be entertaining to watch you guys do like the 2-person slides together, though.
Yeah, that might be next time he's down. We might have to take advantage of the free, water park offer.
Yeah. Can you take a beer in the underwater caps?
Do not take a beer in there.
That would be the only way to get him under there. So I think we're probably out of luck.
It's a little claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because you're putting a dive helmet on, and you're like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Then you figure it out, and it's fine.
Yeah, we went snorkeling in Mexico on our honeymoon, and I got a little panicky because I was like, I don't know how to breathe through this thing. So I feel like doing stuff like that, I get real nervous because I'm like, am I breathing enough? Am I breathing right? It's like you wouldn't think that you'd have to think about breathing that much, but yet here I was.
Yeah, there was some sort of advice that they were telling us in terms of your breath technique, and I was like, as soon as they were like, don't hold your breath when you go down in the water, and I'm like, immediately doing what they tell you not to do. It's just logic,
right.
Of what you would normally do when you go underwater.
Right.
They're like, breathe normal. I'm like, how do I breathe?
I'm scared. I'm not a mermaid.
Exactly. It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. I don't know that I could handle that. So, well, thank you guys for hanging. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. I hope you have a lovely weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and hope you all have fun plans or something exciting to do for the weekend. We leave to go to Hershey on Monday, so
it's gonna be awesome, dude.
I know. That's my whole afternoon today is planning our itinerary, and then I'm going to send it to Blair because she promised me she would look at it before we went.
Are they including Hershey Museum or anything?
So the Chocolate World is free, that little aspect of
but there's
that.
Experiences in it that are paid.
Yeah, no, we just did tickets to the theme park. So
I didn't know if this was like a gifted hosted one.
So yes and no. Basically what happened was I applied for their media access and got told, basically, they're like, we only picked a small amount of, what they said was they only picked a small amount of local creators to cover it. And I was like, that's fine. But they basically said, but here's 4 comp tickets for you to use whenever you want to come.
That's a win.
And I was like, cool, sold. Love that. So we're doing 2 days. We paid for the second day.
Gotcha.
Just because we wanted to make it worth, it's like an 8-hour drive for us to get over there.
Yeah, you want to be there.
Yeah. So we're doing 2 full days. One was a comped day, and then the other one we're paying for.
You're gonna have so much fun. Hershey is one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, I'm excited. I used to go because I lived over there when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and we used to go all the time because we were living near Harrisburg. It was a super quick drive down there. We would take day trips down there all the time. So I've got tons of photos of me with like the Hershey Kiss as like a character meet and greet and like stuff like that from when I was little, but I haven't been probably in 25 years.
I remember when I was the height of a Twizzler and I was like, oh man, I can go on so many more rides.
That's my oldest right now. He's in the Twizzler category.
Wait, do they still have Bar None? Because that was like their tallest.
That doesn't sound familiar when I was looking at all the coasters and stuff.
Yeah, they used to have like their ride height indicate. Oh yeah, they've changed it. So it's now Jolly Rancher is the tallest.
Yes.
Twizzler is the second tallest. Hershey, Reese's,
yeah,
Kisses, and miniatures. But
yeah,
back in the day, dude, it was Bar None.
Yeah,
was the
that's
tallest.
Crazy. Yeah, Jolly Rancher is. Yeah. So my oldest is in the Twizzler category, and my youngest.
It makes no sense that Jolly Rancher is the top. It's like
that's
literally the shortest thing ever.
That's exactly what he said. He's like, Mom, why is it the Jolly Rancher? That doesn't make any sense. The Twizzler makes sense because it's tall. And I was like, you're not wrong. I can't argue with you there. But then my daughter is in the Hershey category. So they're both going to be able to ride on almost everything. But my daughter also she refuses to go upside down. So a lot of the Twizzler rides, she wouldn't ride anyway. I think there's only 2 that don't go upside down that I want that in the Twizzler category. But what I want to try to get her on is the Super Duper Looper because it's got 1 loop. And I think she's going to love it. She's never been upside down. I don't know what her fear is of it. She's a thrill seeker. As soon as she was tall enough to ride Guardians, she wanted to ride it over and over and over again. And she loved it. So I'm like, you can handle upside down. I don't know what your fear is on it, but you can handle upside down.
That's definitely, so that one's a lap bar only, right? Because like the centripetal force like keeps you in. That was for a lot of kids, their very first upside down roller coaster. So I think that's a great easy one.
Yes.
Like our kids, I think our first one was the Scorpion at Busch Gardens, which was very similar, just a lap bar.
Yeah.
But so that one's actually like a fun, nice ride through the woods where Scorpion is a death trap.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to get her on that. And then if she doesn't want to do anything else upside down, I'm fine with it. But I want her to try it at least once. And I think she's going to love it. I think she has psyched herself out for no good reason. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. So
they have a fun shooting dark ride there. I think they're changing it. Although I don't know if it's open right now because they might be like fixing it.
I think it was when I looked, but I did like my initial look at all of the everything, and then I need to go back in and like look at everything. But that's when I was messaging Dean and telling him that I wish you guys had Hershey Park and Kings Island on there. Because when I went to Kings Island, I was like, their map stinks. I need mode to have all of these.
Yeah. No, you're gorgeous. It's Reese's Cup Fusion.
Yes, Cup Fusion. Yes.
Yes. It looks good. It looks real good.
So we'll definitely
they used to give you Reese's peanut butter cups after riding.
That's awesome. I hope they still give you the little Hershey bars after you take the little tram tour in the chocolate world.
So the chocolate world, first of all, Jackie, it's not a tram tour.
Okay.
It is a full-blown, amazing, musical produced dark ride with singing cows.
So
You're gonna love it.
It's changed since I went, but it also is very similar to when I used to go because I have very vivid memories of what that tour was because we used to go every time we went.
It's so good.
So I have very vivid memories. So I'm fascinated to see how it relates, and I'm going to have to record myself going through it to see like, you know what I mean? Because I think that's going to be so fun.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm excited. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, so I was telling Dean, I said, I'm excited for the future when Mode has all these other theme parks because their apps all stink and I can't navigate anything on them because I feel like I don't know where I am and they reorient every time I reopen everything and it drives me nuts.
Listen, that's the goal is within 5 years we
Yeah.
have every major park
Yeah.
across the world in it. So
Yeah.
it's possible.
Yeah.
You just got to keep pushing at it.
I know. I just got to be patient. That's what I told him. So perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Kirk, for hanging. Thanks for being here. Thank you,
Yep.
everyone, for hanging on YouTube. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you all
guys.
later.